All right, y'all, today we are going to learn a new type of function called logarithms. So go ahead and I want you to write this in your notebook, logarithms, and then we will read through all of this stuff together, and I'll tell you what to write down next. 5.1 logarithms. All right, here we go. Logarithms, and I'm just reading right here. A logarithm answers the question, how many of one number do we multiply to get another number? For example, how many 2's do we multiply to get 8? And we have the answer is 2 times 2 times 2. We have to multiply 3 2's together, or 2 cubed, to get 8. Since we needed to multiply 3 of the 2's to get 8, the logarithm is 3. All right, so how do we write logs? This is what I would like for you to write. I want you to write, actually, let's go back and let's write this stuff. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So write down the things that I highlight in yellow. Or 2 cubed equals 8. That's saying the same thing, right? And then I want you to write down this. The number of 2's you need to multiply to get 8 is 3. And now we're going to write down all of this stuff. So let's write all that down. I'm going to give you a second to do that, and then I'll explain what we're looking at here. Actually, write this down too as well. How to read it. Log base 2 of 8 is 3. Okay, write that stuff down. Okay, cool. So you should have all of the yellow highlighted things written down, and now let's actually talk through what we're looking at here. So first I'm going to go through how to read it. How to read it, we say log, that's right here. Then we say base 2, that's right here. Then parentheses, you can always read as the word of, that's the parentheses. And then of 8, that's right here. And then finally is 3, Log base 2, I'm reading this thing right here. Log base 2 of 8 equals 3, or is 3. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to read it, and again, you should have written down how to read it, we want to know how to say that so that when we get to college or when we do math classes in the future, we know how to read logarithms. So now let's talk about kind of like how we're going to start viewing these things. So we have log. I'm right here, y'all. Okay, we have log base 2 of 8 equals 3. Okay, let me show you how I think about logarithms. I use this thing that I call chubby hand, okay? We are always going to start at the base. You're always going to start here at the little tiny number, the small number, and then we're going to draw a chubby hand. So we start with a 2, we go to the 3 equals 8, and that's kind of a wonky hand, so let me try again. 3 equals 8. We hit 3 things. So why am I doing this chubby hand thing? What the heck am I talking about? We start with the 2. Remember to start at the 2. We're going to write, I want you to do like a little arrow, and then write 2. Start with the 2. And then where did we go next? We went to the 3, right? 2 to the 3. Where did we go next? Equals. Where do we go next? 8. So logarithms can be written as exponential expressions. And we are going to practice going back and forth. So it's good to know kind of this like chubby hand trick. And then it's really, really important to know this. So I want you to write it down as well. The log equals the exponent. So what do I mean by that? The log is this thing, and it equals, the equal sign is in the middle, right? The log equals the exponent. So whenever you're looking at a log, if you see the word log, I want you to think that that means exponent, because that's what a log is. A log is an exponent. All right, let's go ahead and move on and talk about ways that we are going to evaluate logarithms and manipulate them. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. So again, these two things are the same. I would actually like for you to write these in your notes. Go ahead and write these things in your notes. These are saying the same thing. And again, we can get to that by using the chubby hand, or you can think of it as like a circle. But I would start with the B, hit the Y. That's your exponent, because logs equal exponents, right? So hit the Y, that's right here. B to the Y equals, and then X. Cool. B to the Y equals X. Let me go ahead and color code that. We have B, and then we go over to the exponent to the Y. Then we have the equal sign equals, and then we have the argument, which is X. So that's the order that we go in. And then I'm going to do this one more time so that you can kind of see how it flows. We do the small number, which is called the base. B, we start with the small number, the base. Then we write the exponent next, which is the thing on the other side of the equal sign. The exponent is Y. So we put that as an exponent on the little b that turns into the bigger B. And then we copy the equal sign. Then we say X, which is called the argument. We'll break those down in a second. Okay, so just as a reminder, or like to kind of summarize, the logarithm answers the question, what exponent do we need? That's all logs are asking for. What exponent do we need to get to a certain number? What exponent do we need? Okay, let's go ahead and write some vocab down. So I do want you to write these vocab letters. Vocab, we have B, X, and we're also going to write down what Y is. We're just going to break down all three of these. So B, which I highlighted in blue up here, right? B is called the base. It's called the base in the log form, and it's called the base in the exponential form. B is always going to be called the base. All right, X is called the argument. So X is the purple one. That's called the argument. And it's called the argument in the logarithm form. And then lastly, Y, we've already gone over. Y is what the log equals. What do logs equal? Logs equal exponents. So we're going to say Y is the logarithm, which is the exponent. All right. So go ahead and get all three of those down, and then we'll actually do some examples. Cool. Let's do some examples. Here we go. All right, this may look a little bit stressful, but let's go ahead and break down, what does this question mean? Evaluate means to like solve or find the exponent. When you're evaluating logarithms, you're finding the exponent. Because remember, logs equal exponents. So all we're trying to do here is find the exponent. Here's what I want you to do as a starting point every time on these problems, because it is going to really help you get these correct. And y'all, I want you to write down these very, very quickly and then do them with me. So you can start writing them down right now, or you can write them down one at a time. It should be fast. Okay, so here's what I want you to do, y'all. I want you to do the chubby hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a box here. This is where the exponent would go. We're trying to figure out what goes in that box. I'm going to draw the chubby hand. We get 2 to the box, right? That's the first thing. You always start at the base. 2 to the box. So let me write that down. This turns into 2 to the box. What do I do next? I hit the equal sign. Equals, What do I do next? I hit the 4. 4. Okay, cool. Why did this help me? Why did the chubby hand help me? Because, y'all, I'm trying to figure out, hold on, let me do the box in pink. I'm trying to figure out what goes in this box. That's going to be what the log equals. The log is going to equal the exponent that goes in that box. So, what exponent goes in that box? 2 to the 2, right? This has to be 2 squared. 2 squared equals 4. So, we're going to put a square in our answer box right here. The exponent that we need is the log. The log equals the exponent. Okay, so I'm going to do these without doing chubby hand. I'm like without drawing the orange. So I'm going to write 5 to the box equals 125. That's what we get when we do chubby hand, right? 5 to the box. And remember, this is the box. So if you want, you could put equals box on all of these. Your answer is what is in all of these boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and put equals box, and then we'll fill in the boxes, what exponent goes in there. Okay, so 5 to the cubed. 5 cubed is 125. Let's keep going. We have 4 to what exponent gives me 64? 4 cubed gives me 64. Sorry about that. Okay, what else? Let's go 10. Ooh, 10s are fun because there's a trick. So let me show you the trick with 10s. 10 to what exponent gives me or equals 100? Here's a trick with 10s, y'all. Count the zeros. How many zeros did we get on the 1 after we put an exponent on it? We got 2 zeros here. So we have 2. 10 squared gives me 100. There's 2 zeros on the 1, right? All right, so let's do this one. I'm going to do it down here. 10 to the box equals 1. And then how many zeros do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, like I said, count the zeros. That's what your exponent is on the 10. 5. There's 5 zeros. All right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do these very quickly. Just the reason we're doing so many is just so you have so many examples. Hopefully it's helping you see what we're doing here. So we have 4 to the box equals 2. And that looks like a 0 instead of a box, so I apologize. 4 to what exponent will give me 2? This one is tricky. Why is this tricky? Well, the 4 is turning into a smaller number. So let's make sure we pay very, very close attention here. What kind of exponent can get me to a smaller number? What kind of exponent can get me, what type of exponent can get me to a smaller number? Hopefully we remember that fractions, we need a fraction in here because 4 gets smaller. 4 goes to 2. So here's the thing, y'all. Square root of 4 equals 2. What fraction is on 4 if we have the square root of 4? That's 4 to the 1/2. 4 to the 1/2. Y'all remember doing these fractional exponents? Equals 2. Square roots are fraction exponents. They're the same thing. Okay, so our answer for this one is 1/2 because that is the exponent that we need on 4. That's the exponent that we need on 4 to get to 2. So 1/2 is our answer here. That's going to be true anytime you get a smaller number. You're going to have a fractional exponent, except for one little thing that we'll do tomorrow. But for now, let's just focus on these ones. All right, we have 125 to what number, what exponent, will equal 5. Again, 125 to 5, that's getting smaller. Well, I know that 5 cubed gives me 125. 5 cubed gives me 125, so that means the exponent here has to be 1/3. 1/3. It's like the opposite of cubed. It's the cube root. Because the cube root, here, I'll show you what we're doing here. The cube root of 125 equals 5. And sorry, my root is kind of ugly. There we go. Okay, let's do a few more very quickly. 64 to what power equals 4? 64 to what power equals 4? Y'all, look. We know that 4 cubed gives me 64. So this also needs to be 1 over 3. And you may notice the pattern now. These match these. So you're just going to have 1 over the exponent from the previous problem. 100, start with the base, the little small number, to what power equals 10. 100 is getting smaller, so it's going to be a fractional exponent. So we have 1 over 2. Because 10 squared equals 100, so 100 to the 1/2 equals 10. Cool. All right, last we have this bigger base. It was 5 zeros. That's 100,000 to what power gives me 10? Well, we know that it's 1 over 5 because there's 5 zeros and it has to be a fraction because we're getting smaller. We're going from 100,000 to 10. Okay, that's one type of problem that you'll see for logarithms. Let's go over one more, or 2 more types. And we'll go quickly on these. These ones are actually way easier. So these types of problems, they say rewrite. Rewrite in one of the forms. They both say rewrite, right? This one says rewrite in exponential form. This second one says rewrite in log form. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We just need to rewrite it in the form that it's telling us. So this is telling us it wants an exponent. So what are we going to do? Chubby hand. Start with your base, the small number. 2 squared equals 4. 2 squared equals 4. That's all we're doing here. Again, I want you to write down as many of these as you can. It's okay if you don't get them all. They'll be in your OneNote. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. We're just rewriting them in exponential form. 4 to the 1/2 equals 2. 4 to the 1/2 equals 2. And y'all remember, just as a reminder, 4 to the 1/2 is the same as square root of 4. So this is saying the same as square root of 4 equals 2. That's saying the same thing. Okay, let's keep going. 1/3 squared equals 1 over 9. Right? You don't have to draw chubby hand every time, but I want you to initially because it'll really help. 5 cubed equals 125. 5 cubed equals 125. 125 to the 1/3 equals 5. This is saying the same thing as cube root of 125 equals 5, right? Because a fraction exponent is going to give us a root, some sort of root. All right, last we have 1/2 to the -3 equals 1/8. We're not going to worry about negative exponents today. We'll do that tomorrow, but you didn't really need to know about them for this case, right? Because we're just rewriting it in exponential form. And you can do that without knowing about negative exponents. Okay, the next set of problems are telling us to rewrite in log form. Rewrite in log form. So we're starting with exponential because we have an exponent. And we want to go backwards. We want to go to log. So chubby hand's not as helpful for this type of problem. But we'll use the same idea. I want you to start by writing log. It says to write it in log form, so we're going to start by writing log. And then what I want you to do is always remember the base comes next. Which one of these numbers is the base? 10. The very first number is always going to be your base. So log base 10. And then logs equal exponents. What is my exponent? Logs equal exponents. What is my exponent? My exponent's going to go on the other side of the equal sign. My exponent is 2. So the 100 has to go here. All right, let's try that again. And let me actually go ahead and color code this for you. There we go. And the exponent, oops, I didn't do the 10. That's the base. Okay, let's do that again. Here we have log. Oh, and this is your answer. You're just writing it into log form. All right, here we have log. Your base is 25. Logs equal, I'm leaving a space because I know a number has to go in there. Logs equal exponents. Which one of these is my exponent? The 1/2. And then the 5 has to go here. That's your answer. All right, what about this one? We have log. The base is kind of scary looking. It's 1/4, but don't worry about it. Logs equal exponents. What's my exponent? The 2. So 1/16 has to go here. That's my answer. All right, I'm going to do these last 3 really quick. Log base 2. Logs equal exponents. The exponent is 3. So 8 has to go in here. Log base 64. Logs equal exponents. My exponent is 1/3. The 4 needs to go inside the logarithm. All right, last one. Log base 2/3. Logs equal exponents. Exponent is 3. 8/27 must go in here. All right, and like I said, those are your answers. You're just writing it in log form. You don't have to solve. All right, there's really nothing to solve. That's it for today, y'all. Let's practice.